leave it for the public to come to their own judgments about someone who once flirted with Hitler Youth when he was younger. That is for the public.
You're not going to believe what just happened. Nigel Farage has exposed something about David Lammy that no one saw coming. And this time, it's not speculation. Farage brought proof right there, live on air, leaving Lammy with no way to dodge or deny it. What began as a typical political discussion quickly turned into a bombshell moment. Farage didn't simply argue, he demonstrated his point. And when he unveiled what Lammy had actually said behind closed doors, the entire studio froze. No one expected what came next. Let's rewind for a second. Earlier this week, during a heated GB News segment, Farage was dissecting the Labour government's growing list of missteps, from the struggling economy to the chaos at the borders. Everything was going as usual until the talk shifted unexpectedly toward David Lammy, the Deputy Prime Minister and one of Keir Starmer's loudest defenders. Now, for days, Farage had been hinting that something about Lammy's recent public comments didn't line up. He'd been suggesting that Lammy was saying one thing to the cameras and something entirely different behind the scenes. And that night, Farage finally decided to prove it. In the middle of the discussion, he calmly reached into his folder, pulled out a stack of papers, and said, "Let's stop talking about opinions, let's talk about facts." He held up the pages for everyone to see. It was a printed transcript from Lammy's own words, taken from a private policy event that happened just the day before. You could almost feel the tension in the room rise. Farage looked straight into the camera and said, "He said this himself. These aren't rumors. These are his words right here." The host went silent. Even the production crew, off camera, seemed to pause. And then Farage began reading, line by line, from Lammy's comments. In those private remarks, Lammy appeared to acknowledge support for certain controversial strategies, the very same ones he'd publicly denied endorsing during interviews. Nothing criminal. Nothing illegal. But undeniably embarrassing, especially for someone who built his reputation on being the government's voice of clarity and conviction. Farage finished his reading, placed the papers back on the desk, and said quietly, "He can't deny it now. It's right there. It's all true." And just like that, the internet exploded. Within minutes, clips from the show flooded Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. One viewer posted, "Farage just caught Lammy red-handed. Unreal." Another wrote, "The look on Lammy's face says it all." Even people who usually criticize Farage admitted this was masterful timing. No shouting. No drama. Just calm exposure and a moment of silence that said more than any argument could. Now, what does all of this actually mean? For David Lammy, it's a credibility crisis. He's long tried to present himself as Labour's confident, internationally minded statesman, the polished counterpart to Farage's populist bluntness. But suddenly, he's been caught saying two different things within just 48 hours, one in private, one on BBC airwaves. And for many voters, that confirmed what they've suspected for years, that politicians speak in doubles. One radio caller summed it up perfectly the next morning. "It's not about who's left or right, it's about who's honest." That's exactly the nerve Farage struck. He tapped into the public's frustration, the deep exhaustion with spin, with talking points, with carefully scripted half-truths. Behind the scenes, political insiders have seen this coming. Farage has been quietly rebuilding his image, connecting with everyday Britons who feel unheard by the Westminster elite. Meanwhile, Lammy has been trying to project control, the calm, disciplined diplomat leading Labour's global vision. But when those two worlds collide, one raw and emotional, the other calculated and polished, sparks fly. A senior journalist told The Telegraph. Farage times his hits perfectly. He waits for the right moment, then drops the hammer. And Lammy didn't see it coming. By sunrise, both sides were scrambling to shape the story. Farage supporters were celebrating, calling it proof that honesty still has power in politics. Lammy's team, meanwhile, accused Farage of cherry-picking quotes and twisting context to stir outrage. But here's the thing, by the time the clarifications rolled out, the clip had already gone viral. In today's fast-moving digital world, perception always outruns explanation. Now, we all know this about Farage, he's not just a politician, he's a showman. He knows that sometimes, one image can do more damage than 100 headlines. That moment, him holding up the papers, saying it's all true, became an instant meme, a soundbite destined to echo across social media. But beyond the drama, this moment wasn't about personal scandal. It was about trust. Who's telling the truth? Who's being real when the cameras are off? And that hit home for a lot of people, because in 2025, trust feels rarer than ever. People don't want perfect politicians. They want honest ones. As the night went on, hashtags like #Farage vs Lammy and #It'sAllTrue started trending. Clips of Lammy's stunned reaction spread everywhere, captioned with lines like, "That moment when you realize you've been caught," or "Mic's still on." It became the newest viral flashpoint in a political landscape where viral moments often matter more than manifestos. And it showed that live television still holds immense power in shaping public opinion. So, where do things stand now? For Farage, this was a big win, a reminder of his ability to dominate headlines and control the tempo of public debate. For Lammy, it's a warning: in the digital age, every word, every private comment, every leaked transcript can resurface at any time. And for the public? It's another chapter in a political era that feels less like traditional debate and more like a constant performance. But here's what really matters. If this was just one revelation, one leaked transcript, what else might still be hidden behind closed doors? Because as Farage himself said, staring straight into the camera that night, sometimes the truth doesn't need volume, it just needs light. And maybe, just maybe, this is only the beginning. The fight for credibility in British politics has just entered a new phase, and everyone's watching what comes next. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more in-depth political commentary, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world of power and politics. Thanks for watching.